This is UMass basketball.
I know this. I'm the most animated coach that you've probably ever seen when my team's playing.
Thompson in the front court. Thompson will lay it in. And one. Hey, he's just being Frank.
And welcome into another episode of Just Being Frank. Welcome into the podcast emporium here inside the Mullen Center. Frank Martin, Jay Burnham with you, Coach. Thanks for coming up here and checking out my new digs. How you doing?
I'm blown away with what you created up here. Like, you know, you've actually created a room that look at this history all around us and UMass personality. So
Put you right off on it, Coach Jack Lehman.
That's pressure. Talk about pressure. That's when you take a job like UMass, you understand the people that came before you, whenever my time here is done, think about the coaches that have been here, you know, and whether it's Travis Ford or Steve Lapis or DK, who's back here. I can't wait to send them that picture. He's all jacked up, his triceps, his shoulders. Derek Kellogg, obviously John Calipari, Bruiser Flint. I mean, like in my lifetime, like some powerful basketball people. And the fact that I get to sit here and I got Coach Lehman looking over my shoulder, that's what it's like every day when you coach at UMass. You have someone with his success always looking over the program that he fought so hard for.
I want to talk about some success that we're going to acknowledge this weekend with Chaz Williams being inducted into the UMass Athletics Hall of Fame. But the football season started.
Oh, boy.
And I know you're a big football guy.
Yeah.
Fireworks in the NFL on Thursday. A spitting incident before the season even starts. Have you ever had to deal with something like that from a student athlete?
No. Jay, this is a conversation for a different day. Because I think about this a lot. The fact that young people don't coexist in their neighborhoods anymore. They don't go play at the local park and earn their keeps at the local park. They don't, everything is online. Everything is a camp or in football, a 7-on-7 deal, and people go to IMG Academy or whatever these deals, which are awesome for what they do. Right. But we've lost sense of what it's like, of respect of who you're sharing the moment with. You've always had fights. I mean, you remember Julius Erving, Larry Bird grabbing each other by the neck in the middle of a game? Like,
to find video of that.
Oh, my God. It's competition. It's going to happen. But when there's a difference between punching somebody and spitting on somebody. And, you learn at a young age that if you're going to talk nonsense and do ignorant stuff, there's repercussions for that. So you learn the human dignity and respect factor as you grow up. And I think we've lost that. That was so, when fights happen and guys get nose to nose, if you're in the world of athletics, that goes hand in hand. I mean, those moments are going to happen, but there's a even within fights and people that we don't agree or don't like, there has to be a respect factor. And when you do stuff like that, I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, that's pretty wild to say, especially to start the season. Speaking of starting the season, last we talked, I think we're a couple weeks behind on this episode. You've been traveling.
Yeah.
Guys are back. Where have you been, actually?
I found 4 days to go to the beach.
Where have you been?
I found a 4-day window to go to the beaches of Puerto Rico, and I just sat there and stared at the ocean for 4 straight.
Where were you?
Dorado Beach, which is, my wife and I love it there. It's not touristy. It's kind of hole in the wall. And there's a hotel there that we like a lot. And you walk out of your room, if you're on the first floor, obviously you're the second floor, you're going to fall like down 12, 14 feet. But if you're on the first floor, which is what I do, when you walk out your back door, you got a piece of grass, you got the sand and the beach. So you just don't do anything. It's
you need to do that, but do it in like January.
Well, I'm a little busy in January. I don't think
you got us going to the Virgin Islands though.
Yes. That these trips. I have an opinion. Like, you always go somewhere that's warmer than where you coach at.
Yeah.
and especially in November, December, and January. But everyone on that trip that goes with us, hopefully we have a group of UMass folks that travel with us, not just players and coaches, that everyone will have a great time. We'll play good basketball and we'll fight our tails off. The coaches will be miserable because we're watching film till late at night, not wee hours, and not sleep much. But that's the reward that hopefully all of UMass can get. Is like when we went to Myrtle Beach a couple years ago. You know, we play good ball, we win, good atmosphere, and everyone that travels there representing UMass can really enjoy it.
In Hawaii, you won 2 out of 3.
Hawaii, we won games. Last year was a year that we laid an egg, and it was unfortunate. We weren't ready for that. Team was not ready, and when I say the team, it was on my shoulders. This is a new moment that we all manage, and I learned a lot. How I tried to manage last year's team going into the season in the summer. And so I've handled things somewhat differently this year to see if it better prepares us for the beginning of this coming season.
So how's that been going? Guys are back on campus. They were here throughout a couple of weeks during summer. They went back home. Now they're here. Classes starting up. You know, what's been your indication on this group so far?
Great energy, great vibe. We can really shoot it. The most important part is what I've done differently. I've never been a big team, like structure. This is how we're going to play on offense and defense in the summer guy. I'm big on player development. I've said this before. You go through my career, through my high school years and all my college years, the guys that stay with me become better players. And they become better players. Why? Because you get to know them as people, so you understand how to motivate them and get them to understand better. But more importantly, you can help people. I can't help you bench press 225 pounds the first month I meet you. But if we stay together, I'll continue to motivate you when I have to, and you'll find that willingness to compete, because it's how we go about things, which is going to make you grow on how because you approach every day a certain way. So player development is also about length. It's not just knowledge. I've had some intelligent teachers, Jay, that I didn't learn anything from. I know when they spoke, I was like, holy cow, what are they talking about? But they never connected with me. And the connection takes place over time, so then you can get them to really listen. So, but these guys have been fun, man. I like our team. I did a lot more team stuff this summer to force our guys to coexist.
What does that involve? Just back and forth
structure,
or running actual plays, or
a little bit, a little bit of both. Individual development is about you. Structure is about team. It's no different than life. When you're representing your family. Well, that structure is created in your home before you step out into the real world. And inside your home, in that structure, we're all 17 once upon a time. We tend to fight that structure because we start having opinions on how I think I should do things. But you're not out there on your own. You live in this house. And I tried to create more of that structure where it takes away from the individuality. So I got to figure out if you and I are going to be willing to have each other's back, if you and I are going to be willing to help each other. See, everyone's quick to criticize these days. Like Buzz Williams, a coach at Maryland, he said this 2000, and it's coming off our Final Four year. So it was in 2017. We had a joint press conference for a scrimmage we were doing. And he said, biggest difference between me growing up and the world right now is everyone wants to tell you what they're against. Why don't you tell me what you're for so I can actually pay attention and listen so I can understand? But if you're always telling me what you're against, then I want to fight because you're basically attacking me. Correct. And I remember we're at the press conference. He said that right next to me. And I was like, wow, that's pretty strong. And, well, you got to tie that into what we're doing in the summer now. I want to see what those guys are for and if they're willing to better understand each other rather than have opinions on what they should do. And I don't know if that makes sense or not. So it's the way I've tried to structure the summer. And what gets me excited is I didn't do it last summer. So it's easy for me to say, well, our players didn't get along. I didn't do that in the summer. I had no idea. I did now. And I can tell you this team does get along. I can't criticize you or challenge. Like, people don't like criticism anymore. Criticism is part of life when it's two people that care about each other. But I can't criticize or challenge you if I don't help first. And these guys have helped each other, so now they're actually pretty good as far as being honest and challenging each other to do things better.
Well, that's, we talked about over the years, you and I together, about the changing world of college athletics. And so you're looking at this situation, hey, this is different. So how do I use what's at my disposal, and how do I change and adapt? And so it sounds like you've been able to kind of learn from some of the things that you've had here in the past and things you maybe did for years that just don't work anymore because the teams change, the personnel changes so frequently, and the world has changed.
I don't want to speak about football, even though I watch it and follow it. I'll speak about basketball because it's the world that I actually manage. You look around the country, and the coaches that still have programs, Izzo, Matt Painter, are guys that have been in place for 20 to 30 years. You're looking at Bruce Pearl now. He built a program from scratch at Auburn. Now he's been able to sustain that consistently over X number of years. The rest of us, we're putting teams together. And the difference between teams and in programs, the returning players help you teach. It's not that they play the right way, it's that they help you teach so everyone gets on the same page. You hear a lot of successful coaches always say, player-led teams are winning teams. That's because you got returning players, not talent, returning players that help the coaches teach and fight for the things that we need to be about. We're in a place now where the majority of us are trying to build teams year to year to year. And when you're building teams, it's complicated because you got to have talent. You got to have people that are willing to understand each other. And then you got to be able to get along. And those traits, talent, you see it right away. The other two traits, you got to go through experiences to understand each other. And that takes a little bit of time.
So we've got some of those guys on this team. Jaden Jingay, who's taken a leadership role on campus as well with some of the things he's doing academically and socially. And then Daniel Hankins Sanford, Brawley as well, that is a guy that hasn't played a ton, but certainly still part of what you've tried to build here. So
absolutely.
When I look at these kids, I mean, they're kids, right? This is what we're dealing with. For us, from April or March to September might not seem like a long time, but how much can a kid grow emotionally on the court, off the court, in that what we think is a short amount of time, but really to them could be, it's such a large chunk of their youth, essentially.
Well, the expectations of how you do things comes from those kind of guys. So let's hit rewind a little bit. So we didn't win enough games last year. We were becoming a pretty good team on Super Bowl Sunday when we won at LaSalle.
Oh, yeah.
And we're in sole possession of fourth place and playing really well. We didn't handle the last 3 to 4 weeks the right way. For whatever reason, sick, injuries, whatever. It is what it is. We didn't handle it the right way. We didn't win enough. So, rightfully so, me included, we were all really mad and disappointed on the final outcome of the season statistically. Wins and losses are a stat. Our team won the school award for community service for all the teams on campus. I didn't get hired at any of the schools I've been at to win the community service award. I understand that. but I still think that's an important part of what I want our teams to be about. I don't know what the record is at UMass. I have no idea. But since I've been here, and I think since Ryan's been here, highest team GPA over a course of a year in men's basketball. That means our guys, the returning guys, the Jadens, the Sanfords, the Raleighs, the Lucas, Luca's a freshman last year, but moving forward now, those guys from day one, they're going to class. They're going, when we go do community service, there's an energy there, man. This is what we do. We give back to people. So everyone has fallen in line from that standpoint.
You did that again this year.
Yeah. And at K-State and South Carolina, I don't know what's happened since I left those programs, but when I left, highest team GPAs, highest community service hours for men's basketball happened under my watch. Those things are important to me. Those returning guys have shown that to these guys. So what happens? These guys, I'm like, oh, wow, these guys are really enjoying following what we're going to be about. And that's where my enthusiasm comes with this team.
You mentioned Luca.
Yeah.
And, I mean, look, it's just hard as a freshman now to be on a team and to not play. You played him a little bit. He's changed his body type. I mean, he looks like he is strong, physical. How is he, I guess, developed in your eyes from what you've seen just from when he arrived on campus last year?
I was sitting in my office as a high school coach back in the 90s, and Leonard Hamilton had come over to see us practice. So we're just sitting in my office talking, and he said, Frank, I tell my staff that if we're going to make a mistake in recruiting, make it a big one. And I'm like, Coach, why would you want to make a big mistake? He said, Frank, I don't mean the mistake big. I mean the player being big. I was like, that makes a lot of sense. So when we're trying to put our roster together, and I've always been a big believer, big guys develop later. Imagine being 6'10" when you're 14 years old.
You just dominating everybody.
But even life, you're in the classroom, like everyone's making, hey, how's the weather up there? And, just
airplane.
You're always, the airplane, you're like the oddball. You can't ever hide.
Yeah.
And so big guys tend to develop their personalities a little later, which means that then their basketball, majority of them, they get better as they get older. When I saw Luca play, he's been educated in basketball in Europe, so he understands the passing, the spacing, the cutting, the things that you need. And he needed to learn because he's not a freak athlete. He had to change his body. We're committed to the weight room here. We don't lift optional. It is like what Tony Reguera does for us in the weight room is incredible, and we demand it as coaches, so the players do it. So when you see a kid like Luca and you say, okay, because it's easy to see Michael Beasley and say, yeah, he's good today.
Yeah.
But my job as a coach is not just for today, but who can they become? Because that's where on November 3rd, is that our first game?
Sounds right.
Yeah. My enthusiasm on November 3rd will be about competing so we can win on that day.
Marshall.
So November 3rd, my enthusiasm that day is about competition and about winning. But my enthusiasm when I get out of bed every day is about watching my guys keep getting better, improving their lives. And because that's hard. That's really hard. Winning games is complicated. Watching people grow and being in their corner when they're growing, that's really hard. And Luca's taken major steps forward. So our whole opinion recruiting him was like, he's got a work ethic. He's a high character guy. He's family. He's not just chasing money or chasing individuality.
He was down the road at
and he plays for a guy that lives and breathes UMass University and UMass basketball, Mike Mannix. Mike is not going to try to promote somebody to come to his alma mater that he freaking loves like he loves his family that's going to come in here and embarrass people. I said, we got to do this. And Luca worked. He wasn't ready when he got here, but he's worked and worked and worked and worked. By the end of the season, started earning some minutes, and he continued that into the offseason. Total transformation of his body. His shooting, I said, you're not this freak athlete. You got to shoot it.
I was going to bring this up because I've seen him in practice, shoot the basket from three-point range. By the way, we got him listed. Let me first shout out Sam Allard, who's done a lot of behind-the-scenes work, showing guys photos, video, really keeping people up to date with what's going on. We're going to need him to update the website, too, because he's listed at 6'10", 260. I don't know if that's...
I don't think he's 260 anymore.
Yeah.
He's changed his body, and if he's 260, it's a different 260.
So we'll have to weigh him in.
Yeah.
But he does have that little, like, European kind of soft touch, right?
Yes. See, when I saw him in high school, when he played length and athleticism, because he's got no lift, he quick shoot the ball. So I said, okay, he's not ready to understand how to deal with that. So we got to teach him how to deal with the physicality to score.
Josh Cohen would kind of quick shoot the ball.
Correct.
Right, yeah.
But Josh Cohen, but that was Josh Cohen at 23.
Right.
Josh Cohen at 18, redshirted, didn't play.
Yeah.
So, and funny you say that because that was my perspective when I told Luka. If we can figure out a way to teach him how to continue to work, he's a better runner than Josh Cohen was. He had a little bit more athleticism than Josh. But if he can progress, because the game's between your ears, the most overlooked, evaluated part of the game is your athleticism. Guys that don't have it between their ears never adjust. I don't care how athletic you are, you eventually got to adjust. And Luka had that, and Josh had that. That's why Josh improved every year in college. Luka's the same way, and he's in a much better place. I'm excited. I mean, what he's done all summer, he's been a great teammate, which we always knew. That's why you recruit character. We used to say, you got to wait your turn. Nobody waits their turn. Like, we go to fancy restaurants and we're pissed when we don't get a table right away. And then you're mad when you order food and they're not microwaving your food because you want your food right now. Nobody waits in line anymore. So that terminology don't work anymore. But he has continued to push the envelope, and he's getting an opportunity now, and he's in a much better place.
He's got such a fun personality too, right? He's a little bit of a joker. He's got a sense of humor. So I'm really interested to see, his growth and how it works with the guys that you've put together on this roster. Okay. We've got we're recording this on Friday before the Hall of Fame weekend.
Yes.
Chaz Williams will be here on Saturday to go into the UMass Athletics Hall of Fame. He's been around a little bit more. And now, too, I know, obviously, he played professionally for so long overseas. But he's very connected with you and this program.
Chaz loves this place. And obviously, the people in this place and this campus opened up a door for Chaz to become Chaz. And for Chaz to find success. I'm not going to speak like I know Chaz great. He's been gracious enough to be around, to talk to our players. He's worked out my son. But I knew the guys that coached Chaz, Adam Ginsberg, Marlon Smoke Williamson, obviously Derek Kellogg. Those guys are friends of mine. So I know what we all go through in helping an 18-year-old become a 22, 23-year-old. The fact that Chaz came in here and grew, and whenever the lights came on, he represented that uniform like there's no tomorrow. And that's what allowed everyone around him to continue to stay in his corner to help him grow. So that's why you see Chaz. I think he lives in Springfield when he's not playing, down there somewhere. And
running camps and
stuff. And now all he does is give back. When you're 20 years old, it's about you. When you get old, you realize, I got to go help the next one the way people help me. And Chaz's is it's the vibe he gives me. That's why he's so deserving of going into Hall of Fame, is when he was here, we're just all about community service, GPA, all that. You don't go into Hall of Fame because of your GPA and community service, but because of the growth that goes on behind the scenes with those kind of things. And then his ability to represent that program we just talked about this guy over my shoulder here. This guy, Jack Lehman, remember him? I just told you, every one of the coaches here, you have Coach Lehman overlooking this program. And there's a responsibility there. And in coaches, you have to show those players that. Well, imagine having DK being your coach. So DK plays for Cal,
right,
is a part of all the incredible winning that took place here. We all know what Jack Lehman meant to Cal. DK knew that. DK pressed his team to perform, to represent the uniform. Chaz embodied that as well as anybody and went out and like, I tried to coach a team to go win at Kansas. He did. We couldn't do it. And Chaz took his UMass team and beat Kansas out there in the state of Kansas. And that's hard. But that's who Chaz was, man. They're like an unbelievable performer, entertainer, courage, and rightfully so. He's being rewarded with get put into the school's Hall of Fame.
I'm excited to see him again.
Oh,
He's popped in here and there. Obviously, his schedule's been difficult with him still playing. But I mean, when he comes into the room, that's the name that people are like, wow, Chaz Williams is here because of how great that team was. The last team for us here at UMass to go to the NCAA tournament. And I think it indicates that how much a difference can make for one person to influence an entire program.
Absolutely. He's got a charisma about him.
Yeah.
And when it's hard to get through the difficulties of anything you do when you're around people that have no charisma. You need that uplifting spirit, that tough-minded individual that when in the hardest moments of games, and you stand next to Chaz, you don't realize that he's not very big. Because when you see him as a player, the harder the moment, the bigger he performs. And so you create this vision of his persona because of how tough he is in those moments. Then when you actually stand next to them, you're like, holy cow, I can't believe Chaz is 5'10" or 5'9". But it's who he is, man. He's fearless. He's not scared of the moment. He's a guy that people like to play with because of the fact that he can carry you and uplift you.
Let's talk about the golf tournament coming up.
I think that's a great.
Are we?
I think this is all.
At least still some availability, or are we at
Close to capacity, Kay.
And
if it's not a capacity, it's get ready to get there.
I just saw the Mass Collective send out one of the gifts, and it's like that you get when you sign up, and it's just a really sharp looking UMass app, like high quality stuff. Yeah, I know he doesn't he doesn't mince words. You know, he puts together good quality items. Up at Crump and Fox, are you going to be swinging over the sticks? I mean, I played golf with you once, so I'm not going to lie, it was a little rough, but have you been out there?
It depends what you consider rough. I mean, if you're trying to compare me to Roy Williams and Tubby Smith, who play golf every day of their life, then I'm a disappointment for a basketball coach. But, you know, it's...
Have you played any golf this summer at all? Did you go to...
Yes, I played some. I actually was hitting the ball pretty good back in June, but then, you know, July is all recruiting. And then in August, when my daughter getting in, this isn't about my family, but my daughter moving her off campus and then getting her started in the school pharmacy down at Duquesne. We've had to commit travel time to there. My son, it's his last hurrah.
So he's going to be a senior.
Yeah, he's at Wilbraham Munson, and he's in his last year.
How did his junior year go?
It went well. It went well. Wilbraham and Mike Mannix have been really good for him. He's grown tremendously. And then his AAU coaches, Vin Pastore and Tom Nelson, they've brought out a different animal out of him that, I said that publicly in my one press conference. I coach my children as human beings. I don't coach them in basketball.
Right.
I let other people coach them. And they've brought out different side of him. But he had a real good spring, real good summer.
How big is he now?
He's a little bigger than me, so don't tell him I said that. Somewhere between 6'4", 6'5", somewhere in there. I'm real. We as a family were really brother, sister, Anya, myself. We're really proud of him. He's matured a lot in the last 16, 18 months.
Have you matched up the schedules? Because I think Anya was going from there to here, to the back, to try and get both games in.
It's hard.
How's it looking?
It's hard. It's we're a tight knit family. That's why I said it's his last hurrah. So even on weekends I wasn't recruiting. I was in whatever gym he was at, being that, and doing my job supporting him. And so all that travel, it's all worth it. It's what's created our family, as tight as it is. We look out for each other. We care for each other. Don't mean we're happy with each other every day. But at the end of the day, we fight really hard to represent the name on the back of our jerseys in a positive way, and that's why we're so proud of him. He's embraced the work that it takes to become a good basketball player, not because his dad's a basketball coach, because he wants to be a good basketball player. And it's been fun to watch the adults that have been part of his basketball life impact him in such a positive way.
Give me some snippets as to, some of the guys throughout the summer that you've seen. I think you said the last time we talked, hey, this is going to be a better shooting team.
Oh, my God.
Percentages for those guys will pan out from what they've done in the past. But has that been evident for you in seeing it in practice?
Yeah, hands down. I mean, it's a little different. What's looking like our point guard play, we're going to be a little smaller there than, think Noah Fernandez. Noah's a little taller than the guys we got. Dan
Carluccio, 5'11".
Yeah, somewhere in there. Danny's deceiving because he's not really tall, but he's really long. He's got long arms, big hands. KJ's probably in that 6 foot range. Donovan Brown's in that 6 foot range. So, the guys are going to be more of a point guards.
Keon Thompson
he was smaller, but Keon was a freak athlete. Like Keon, he was like, and he long arms, and he'd pop up off the ground and finish over people at the rim. Keon was just a freak athlete. These guys, Donovan knows it, and they're all different. KJ is a great mind, plays off his jump shot, and he can really shoot it, and he's got a voice connected to all that. And sometimes he's going to tell you things that you don't want to hear if you're his teammate, but that's what point guards do.
How are we counting this now? KJ Parker, we're talking about. Now with guys that have played at JUCO or the other levels, how do you count years of eligibility?
Yeah, you play. It's a year. So KJ's played 2 years of college basketball. One, he was starting point guard at Florida A&M, and then he was starting point guard at Florida Southwest Community College last year. So he's in his third year of eligibility.
A junior.
Correct. Donovan Brown is in his fourth year of eligibility, and he's played 3 previous years, so he's a senior. Donovan's more of a bucket getter. Donovan, again, a great personality, great voice, uplifting, but he's trying to go get one. And he's hard to defend off the dribble. He knows how to play.
And he's a little bigger.
And he's
6'2", 6'3".
Yeah, not quite. I wouldn't say 6'3", but, he's in that 6'1"ish, 6'2", strong legs. He's got athleticism, big hands. And then Danny Carbuccia is, I don't put the cart in front of the horse in what I do, because then, we create all these expectations for young people. And then because I say something publicly, everyone's like, oh, he's no good. I can't believe Frank said that. I'm just telling you, Danny's as good a passer as I've been around for an incoming freshman. I mean, he passes that ball. He sees you open, you're getting the ball. And It's and he's again, all three guys have a great. All three of those guys have spent a lot of time trying to connect with my brain, which allows me then to understand their brain. And that's so important with the point guard spot, is because when the game starts, if I got to micromanage the point guard, we don't have a good team. When the game starts, I'm trying to figure out what it takes to win the next possession, and that point guard has to make the plays while I'm thinking about the play after that.
And it's difficult when, I think maybe last year, you've got really just one guy that has scored a point the entire time. I know we talked about Russell Diggins trying to get in at the point position, but I guess it feels like maybe a little more depth in that category and some options for you to kind of move guys in and out of point.
Yeah, it's I don't know how to say this without it. I'm not very good with sugarcoating stuff, Jay. You've been around me. I live in the truth, and I express the truth the way I perceive it, and I'm willing to listen to your truth the way you perceive it, so I can figure out a way to learn too. But from the moment that we're in as coaches right now, you got to have depth, because you got 10 months. You don't have 4 years. You got 10 months. And whether guys do right or wrong, they're going to make decisions that the rules allow them to make at the end of those 10 months. I'm not here to evaluate or judge people based on the decisions they made on the rules that are in place. The rules allow them to do it. They should have the right to do it. But as I'm managing a team during the season, I can't go into a season anymore being handicapped at any spot. Point guard, center, I can't. I've got to be able to, and the players have to manage this. This is their journey, their life. I talk to them about it. They've got to be willing to understand, like, if you're just not in the mood today, I'm not holding that against you. I used to, because it was a long-term relationship. Well, we got 10-month relationships now. I hope it becomes a long-term like it is with Sanford and Jaden, but I can't make decisions on that anymore unless you make the decision that you want it to be that way. But I got to have someone else that I could put in there to impact the team in a positive way on that day. And that competition's awesome, man. Everyone, like, there's not a more wasted time in recruiting than when people say, do I have a chance to play? Do you think I'd be sitting in front of you to recruit you if I don't think you're good enough? No. So why would you ask that question? And then everyone wants to play in the game. I get it. I used to be that age. I understand. But you don't get better in the game. You get better in practice every day behind the scenes. So those teams that we said have programs, the way Dean Smith had it, the way Coach Lehman had it, the way coaches that were all these schools that every year they're losing their best player, they'll never win again.
Didn't matter.
And then next year, some guy that was a backup goes out and
Virginia.
He becomes that guy. Well, because they get better at practice. That's the way the world works. That's where you get better at. So you got to have competition and practice. We've got that on this team.
Where do we go from here? This is, I think you got a recruit on campus today, I heard. Maybe. I'm not allowed to disclose that.
It's that time of year, Jay. I don't know what we can talk. Seriously.
No idea.
So all the money that we talk with people about now, and we can't mention who's on a recruiting visit. Like, what are we doing?
I don't know. Yeah, we could rewrite the code. But class is starting. Your guys in the gym, in the weight room. So what is the next, before we talk again in 2 weeks, what does the next, fortnight, 2 weeks look like for you and these guys?
Yeah, this might, the first 3 weeks of September are complicated because we got a new team. Fans, see, this hasn't, this is going to sound crazy, but fans now get mad. They don't care that you won 9 championships. They don't care that that last year you were good. They don't care you're a new coach. They want to win on November 3rd.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? That's the way it should be. That's the way us coaches are. behind the scenes. We're not like playing patty cake when you lose on November 3rd.
You're not saying, we might not win that game. That's okay.
That's so now the fans, which is what I've always said. You, like as a coach, I want to be at a school where fans, when I'm happy, they're happy. When I'm mad, they're mad. When I'm frustrated, they're frustrated. Then you're at the right place. So getting to November 3rd, no longer do people wait to January for you to become a good team. So we comprehend that. The first 3 weeks of September, I got 10 new players. Third straight year. The country average is 9 new players. We got 10. All right, so we outdid the average by 1. Getting all those guys on the same page by November 3rd, but we're restricted with time. The rules only allow us to go on the court 4 hours a week right now. So you've got to figure that out. Well, here's the other part. Well, this is a time of year where I'm constantly leaving campus to go finalize the recruits that we're trying to convince to come on their official visits. So hopefully they commit or sign with us by the first week in November. So these first 3 weeks in September is complicated because I'm still in relationship building mode with our present players, but the business is pulling me off campus to go deal with recruits. And
that's where your staff comes in.
Correct.
Those have all been head coaches.
Absolutely. That's why the fact that we've had stability on our staff, which is a credit. Which is a credit to athletic administration, the credit to campus leadership, that they've been willing to help us hire the right guys and hire them and keep them, because when you don't pay people that are good, they're going to leave. It's just the way it is. Now, we've been able to retain our staff and keep we've got consistency in our office, which then allows the returning players, the Daniels, the Jadens, all of them to be better because of the consistency of the people around them. You don't get better if you're always moving, man. I said this, Jay, I think you and I might have talked about it. There's a reason foster children are emotionally the way they are. It's not their fault. They're always in a different home. So it's hard to grow because you don't learn to trust. You got to trust to grow. And when you're always in a different home, that doesn't make you a bad person, but there's a lack of trust, and so it's hard to grow. So it's the guys that stay that's given us a chance to do that. But it's September's complicated. We do have a big weekend today, starting later today. It's a big weekend. If you understand what I'm
not a small.
No. It's big. And then next weekend we will have another big weekend. So it's that time of year, And then in between, I got to work the guys out, meet with them, and then get on planes and go to different places.
And the one thing about
last weekend, we had a unbelievable small weekend, but it was unbelievable. So
we'll let people read the tea leaves on social media about what's going on. But the thing about the MAC, which is this will be the first year your program is in the Mid-American Conference, the thing that the A-10 tried, but then it fell apart, was that conference-to-conference relationship.
Yes.
With the challenge to take on another conference. So the A-10 had a setup with the Mountain West, and then COVID happened. It all fell apart, never came back. The MAC starts you right off with another mid-major conference, and then there's 2 games. You get one in the beginning of the season and then one during conference play. Correct. Interject a TBD right now, opponent. So you pair up with, kind of the better teams in each conference, kind of get to play each other. Which I think works great in the world we live in for end majors where I get those games, and you start right out of the chute with Marshall. And so not only do you want to obviously win, but you want to prove to the league, because then you get another better game down the line, that you are one of the best teams. And it's hard right out of the gate, right? Teams change.
Wild.
It's a big one to start. But you get them at home. It's hard. Here on November 3rd.
That's the advantage.
Yeah.
They know very little about us. other than individuality at other places, and we're going to know very little about them. And game ones, I can't remember who the football coach just said this the other day. It might have been Mike Vrabel. I can't, like, game ones, coaches have no idea what's coming. So you really, really got to focus on your own team. And then as the game is flowing in game one, then try to figure out, because in professional sports, rosters turn over a lot. And because you're good playing left tackle for team A in run blocking, and that's a running team, now you're the free agent signing for team B.
And they might throw the ball.
But they're a throwing team. I got no idea how you handle pass blocking when you've done nothing but run block over here. So there's a lot of unknown. But Marshall's good. They hired a new coach a year ago, I think, 1 or 2 years ago. Mike D'Antoni's brother, Dan D'Antoni, was a longtime coach there. He retired. And the guy that they brought in has done an incredible job. They won 20 games last year. They play the game the right way from what I've seen on film. That's I don't know if that's the opponent that I would say, let's go play them the first game of the season, but it is what it is. We're all in the same boat. It doesn't change.
Sunbelt MAC Challenge.
Yeah, it's a great thing. It's a really good thing.
Okay, Coach. So thanks for stopping by.
How about this, Joe?
I know, right? Hey, and you're my guinea pig for this setup. And I'll let you go enjoy your big weekend. See you at the football game. Actually, I'll see you at the Hall of Fame banquet.
I'll be looking up a lot this weekend.
You're not a small guy.
Yeah, bro. I'll be looking up a lot this week. And no, I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of alums and everyone at the Hall of Fame.